Okay, so I'm going to start off a few little lessons looking at something called the Loft command. So there's going to be a simple basic explanation of what lofts are, and then we'll look at a little bit more complicated ones after that. So first off, what is a loft? Well, here's a shape which looks like just like a truncated cone, so a cone with a top cut off. Now I could make that, you could make that if we just drew a sketch with a circle, and we extruded it, and then extruded it with a draft. If you remember, we can, if I just was to draw a sketch there, for example, just to show you what I mean, if we go for extrusion on there, we can add this thing here, this draft, where we have angles. So we can make angles come out, or we can make angles go in, so they can create a cone or a pyramid type shape. However, this one's slightly different in that it's actually created by having two sketches, so there's one on the bottom, and having a second sketch up on this plane. So I've offset a plane, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, offset a plane, and I've drawn a second sketch up here. Now, why would I do that? Well, for this example here, there's not really any reason why I shouldn't just do an extrusion with the draft. But if I just go to my first sketch, you'll see I've actually drawn an ellipse. It's an ellipse, so I can change that to be have a different shape. So I made that. So it's an ellipse rather than being a true circle now. So if I now do the extrusion, you'll see that what a loft basically means, or allows us to do, is to take one shape and kind of extrude it to another different shape. So if we were making, let's think that could be maybe a lid off a glue tube, or I don't know, maybe it's a bit of a bottle that's going to be in more interesting shape. So by using the loft command, what it means we can do is we can create a 3D shape that goes from one profile here to a second profile that's different up there. So that's what loft is. So if we do a simple one, if I just open up a new part here, so if I was going to do a simple one, maybe a really easy one to show you would be maybe something that's got a square base going into maybe a round shape. So if I was to put that one there, so center point rectangle in the middle, I want to make sure for this one that my center is above that, so I'm going to make sure I'm in the middle. So there's my first profile, it's a square. Now my second one, I want that to be somewhere in space up here. At the moment, obviously, I've got nothing to draw on, so I need to put in a plane. It's going to be an offset plane, so I'm going to basically make another plane that is parallel to this one here, this top plane, but it's going to be offset up here somewhere. So I hit the plane tool at the top, and default is offset. There's other planes you can put in. We go for an offset plane, and we're going to hit that one there, and you can see it jumps up. Default again is 25. I can change the direction if I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be up here. I don't know. Let's say it's going to be 150 for this one. So it's giving us a bit of space. So I can now, on that second plane, I can draw myself another sketch, and let's say I do a circle this time, just for ease. Make that 40, let's say. Now, what I can do now, I can simply get my Loft tool. I can select my bottom profile. I can select my next profile up, and what it's going to do, look, is it's going to create a 3D shape between those two different profiles. So you can see it goes from a square shape to a round shape. These top and bottom shapes can be pretty much any shape you want. They can be more irregular. They can obviously just be polygons. Don't have to be directly above it. If I go back to this one here, and if I was to say, let's move this, let's see if I can move it off the center. Might be easier to delete it. If I draw another circle somewhere over here, it doesn't have to be directly above the bottom. You can do, so go back to my loft, and I'm going to select my next shape there, and you can see I've now got a slightly more interesting, slightly strange shape. So you can play around and make all sorts of weird shapes with loft. So what is a loft? It's where we take two different shape profiles and we create a shape between those different profiles. What do we need? We need a shape here, we need an offset plane somewhere up here, and we need a second profile up there, and we can loft between them. So that in a nutshell is a loft. So you can have a go playing around with creating lofts, creating different shapes, and seeing what you like. That's simple loft. So I'm just going to stop there, and then I'll show you the next stage shortly.